The police comlink crackled to life again. Crate. All teams, ready your weapons and prepare for my mark. Do not, I repeat, do not move before you are instructed to. Anyone who fails to obey this command will answer to me. Await my instructions. Crate out. Okay, sure. A group of middle-aged people in shabby clothing were gathered in the street, huddled together and clutching their possessions. They were wide-eyed, staring, some obviously in shock. The riots had taken their toll. A man with a patchy beard, the leader of the group by the looks of things, leaned forward, his eyes shifting from one member of the congregation to the next. His voice was low and urgent, his tone serious. Look, we can't stay here. Let's just gather what we can carry, go to the barricades at the edge of town, show the cops our IDs. Once we can prove we live here and we're unarmed, they'll let us through. That's the plan. Okay. If you leave town, I'd advise you to sneak out, stick to the back alleys, and do whatever you do, don't approach the cops. The back alleys are full of lunatics. The riots are still going on all around us. There are gangers, looters, and triad thugs. We need to get someplace with bright lights and safety and security. We've got to go to the cops, ask for help. You can't trust the police. If you go to them, you're gonna regret it. They're cops. I like our odds better with them than I do with the people out here on the streets. If you need anything from your homes, clothes, heirlooms, valuables, go get them and be quick about it. We'll meet back here in 10 minutes, then we're headed for the barricade. We're getting out of this death trap. Bad plan, buddy. Alright. Let's get through. A lanky man in a skin-tight vest leered at you as you entered the bar. He looked like a low-level go-ganger dressed in the Black Sun Boys' colors. He stepped out in front of you to block your progress. Bar's closed. On orders of the boss. He pointed at the door you walked in through. Step out of here, now. You have no idea who you're talking to, do you? No, I don't, and I don't care. In here, you're nothing, unless Combat Pang says different. Now, I'm going to give you a choice. Get moving or start bleeding. Now, that's a nice knife. How much damage do you think you could do to crochet with that thing, Racta? Not at all, my friend. Racta's murderous drone scuttled forward with alarming speed. Its chassis all hard edges and gleaming metal. It reared back, splaying its killing legs wide. Racta's smile widened. None at all. The ganger's eyes went comically wide, and the bravado he'd been displaying a moment ago evaporated. He started backing away, his hands raised in surrender, his lips trembling. Hey, I don't want to... Boss? A low voice growled from beside the bar. Fuck me sideways, Jimmy. If I gotta do everything myself around here, what do I even keep you around for? Eddie Combat Pang, the owner of Combat Pangs, and the ringleader of half a dozen Kowloon City Go gangs, the Black Sun Boys included. He leered at you through a mouthful of gold-capped teeth. Pang was a living stereotype of the surly dwarf in the flesh, 10 tons of Napoleon complex in a 70-kilo body. Alright, you listen to me, my boy. Maybe you won't listen to my boy, maybe you'll listen to me. We are closed. You want to keep all your fucking teeth? You'll turn around and go back the way you came. No way, man. You reopen that kitchen, you do it now. We're here for wings and breasts and thighs. And also, we want the artifact you stole, because fuck you and that's why. You had the man Pang. We want chicken parts and an extra ancient... We want chicken parts and ancient rock, and we want them now, with extra sauce, and a bucket of lobster rolls, and a whole fistful of napkins. Wet wipes, too, if you have them. He wrapped his fingers against the bar, an innocuous gesture, but set alarm bells ringing in your head. All around you, gangers began shifting their positions, their smiles growing ugly, hands creeping towards holsters. From somewhere in the back of the room, you heard an ominous sound, heavy footsteps, and the scrape of something metal against the floorboards. Kitchen's closed, sweetheart. Unless you want to man the oven yourself, chicken's off the table. But if you come back for happy hour sometime, I'd be happy to hook you up. Now, if you want the rock, I've got to assume you're on Cheng's payroll. That true? You first, tell me about the Kong you lifted. What's a man like you want with a Neolithic artifact, anyway? What business is it of yours? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and answer that for you. It's none of your fucking business. The rock belongs to me now. End of story. Keep going on like that, and you may not have a bar to put it in. Not a threat, asshole? Sure sounded like one. You're standing in the middle of my home right now. See all these people around you? They're my friends, and they don't take kindly to strangers trying to throw their weight around. Well, I'm in no mood to spar with you, Pang. You hand the rock over, I'll cave you in your damn skull. Bartender fumbled for something under the bar. A second later, there was a sword in his hand, and the entire room was reaching for their pieces. Pang roared out something unintelligible, and the bullets began to fly. Sonny! Well, this is not going to end well. Oh, hi there, lady. Good thing there is a convenient corner to hide behind. So, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of action point smuggling. Also, Rakta. So, Rakta, what I need you to do is overclock the cute little drone you have with all the melee toys. And then you... Oh, bugger. Well, that's less than ideal. But Koshe, I need you to stab a lady. Rip and tear. Right, try this one. Good, good. And this one. Good. Me? I'm gonna fuck off over here. You ganger in light cover. How do you miss 5 times with a 60% chance shot? Better. Not good, mind you. Just better. Good. That guy's dead. Come on. Come on. You know what? We'll just shoot you then. Really? Alright, again, metal stance. Then, bite. Take a bite out of the mage. Then just rip into this guy. Then spit at him too. For good measure. Okay, gob it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do this, or do we just Alright, move over here. Acid fog, or do I just blast away at this guy? You know what? We'll do this. Then you can punch a man? Nah. Now stab a man with our extra action. Good. So he had 4 AP. Rude. Yeah, that's about what I was hoping for. Okay, so adept. Get marked. And then I guess we go with this shot. And I guess another regular shot. Good. Now. I guess we'll move you here and shoot that one. Now you get back to stabbing. Good, better. Now, Koshe, we can make you better aiming. And then you just aim shot at the ganger. Pity. Now we're gonna just stab this thing repeatedly. Oh, come on. So sick of the terrible aim we got here. But it happens. Alright, so we'll try flushing you. Good. And then we just blast away. Rude. Okay. So we can't burst fire. So we move up, move here, and then we just fire a burst into this guy's back. Come on. You miss so often. I think part of it is that it just also no-sells the misses so much. Okay. Pang's gaze swept across the carnage that littered his barroom floor. While he and Sonny were still alive and kicking, at least half his crew was dead. Rivers of blood streamed from the gangers' bodies into the drain set into the floor. You killed my crew, you son of a bitch! I'm gonna paint the bar with your blood! Half your boys are dead, Pang. If I don't have the Kong in my hands by the count of 3, you and Sonny are gonna join them. He stared at the gangers' ruined corpses and the bloody drain set in his barroom floor. At you. He saw something in your eyes and you watched him deflate like a punctured balloon. It's behind the damn bar. The rocket's behind it. Take it and get out. Well, that worked out. Let's just have a look around, shall we? And I guess that's the parking area. And then we walk out into the cop's embrace. That's my guess here. It seems like an awful waste, all this trouble over a stupid hunk of rock. It is our employer's rock. She wants it. That is all we need to know. We better get moving. It's something metallic at the ground at your feet, cutting you short. A canister of some kind. You didn't hear where it came from. By the time you could process what was happening, it was too late. The metal tube erupted, spraying out a hissing steam of concentrated vapor. In the distance, you could see figures wearing gas masks. Not riot control cops, and not SDU, but official-looking, wearing red uniforms. They were already moving in, beelining in your direction. Hold your breath. You seal up your lips tight, but the vapor crawled up your nostrils anyway. It was sharp, with a chemical tang you could taste in the back of your throat. It made your eyes burn and filled your mouth with saliva. You stumbled forward, trying to right yourself. It was a lost cause. The world went black. And there we go, back to present, I suspect. Your words ring metallically off the confinement room's walls. You've been talking for so long, recounting all the tedious details of your run, that your voice hums in your ears after you finish speaking. A single flickering bulb above your head sways in an invisible breeze. Beyond the light's reach, your interrogator stands shrouded in shadow. You can't see his eyes, but you can feel him quietly observing you from the safety of his corner. His silence opens a floodgate to your thoughts, and the questions that come pouring in. Were you brought here alone? With others? Most of all, what do your captors want from you? You've finished your story. There's nothing left to tell. It's his turn to talk back. The troll lifts his audio receiver from the table and clicks it off. He stands in silence for a moment, looming over you, sizing you up. Then he purses his lips and nods. And that's when we picked you up. Well, the story ended with me getting knocked unconscious. What do you think? You know, as a rule I don't like smart asses, but you make a fair point. Alright, thank you for recapping all of that for me, Mr. Nguyen. Your testimony was extremely helpful. I didn't have much of a choice, did I? I suppose not, but I'm going to make it up to you. I mean, it's only fair you learn something in return. We recovered this at the scene. Take a look. See what we saved you and your team from. He sets a PDA down on the desk, activates it with the tip of his pen and slides it towards you. Just watch. Don't touch. You don't want your fingerprints on this thing. Watch the video feed. The feed is shaky. Whoever owned this device must have been panicked, out of breath. You can see people, swarms of people, including the locals you spoke to on the street. All are carrying burdens of some kind, a laptop here, a knapsack there, backpacks bulging with shrink-wrapped food and bottled water. None of the locals appear to be armed. The camera wheels around and you can see a firing line of police. The man with the patchy beard is pleading with them, begging to be let through. He says he's an rioter, that none of the people here are. The constable, faceless behind his mask, says nothing. The camera focuses on a figure behind the police lines. Her features are instantly familiar. Chief Inspector Crate. She looks straight into the camera. She reaches her hand to her ear and speaks into a comlink. Her voice is loud and clear enough you can hear it over the PDA's tinny speakers. All teams, you know your orders. Open fire. Put them down. An explosion of gunfire fills your ears. The camera spins crazily and you catch a panoramic view of bodies bursting like water balloons. Faces you recognize from your trip to combat pangs scream for help and are silenced. The second volley of gunfire catches the owner of the PDA. You hear him shriek. Watch the camera spin dizzyingly. You hear a sickening crack and the video feed flickers and dies. The PDA goes silent. Without a word, your interrogator lifts it up from the table and returns it to its evidence bag. They killed everybody. They just hosed them all down. They suppressed the riot. At least that's the story that all news outlets are running with. Unofficially, it was a massacre. If we hadn't pulled you out of there, you'd have been gunned down with the rest. Why'd you show me this? Good question. Let's just say the people at the top have had their eyes on you for a while now. You'll get all the answers you need soon enough. The troll stretches and slips his pen back into his breast pocket and flips his notepad shut. He then taps a series of keystrokes into his PDA and the cuffs around your wrist go slack. The lights in the room come up and for the first time you can see his face and the badge on his hip. HKPF standard issue, a laminated card clipped to his breast pocket, states his name, Inspector David Yang. Okay, I think we're done here. What are you charging me with, Inspector? Nothing. You aren't under arrest. You and your team are here as guests of the HKPF, and you're going to remain that way until we tell you differently. Guest of the HKPF? You're going to have to clarify that. Not my job. You'll need to speak with Q and Lamb for that. Don't you worry. They'll be sending for you soon enough. And who are they? You'll find out. And this feels like a shipping container almost. The door looks solid. You can't see any visible doorknob or latching mechanism. From where you're standing, most likely it's barred from the other side. Examine the door more closely. The door is made of heavy steel. It appears to be mounted to a set of tracks at the top and bottom of the door frame, designed to slide rather than swing open. It's closed. When it's closed, it sits flush with the wall. Your best guess is the room you're in was built in one piece, and the door was later cut from it. Wait for the door to open. You calm yourself and settle back and wait for the door. An interminable amount of time later, you hear the sound of muffled voices, followed by a dull thunk. The scrape of metal dragged over metal fills your ears. The door pops open, but only a crack. A sliver of daylight streams through from the other side. Yep. Looked like a shipping container to me. Sun stabs your eyes as you step from the interrogation room into the noonday sun. Blinking against the glare, the world gradually swims into focus. A familiar face greets you. Ryan, you're out. Thank God. They've had you locked away in there since we got here. True story. We only knew you were where you were because we could hear you screaming last night. You okay, Ranneko? They didn't hurt you too bad, did they? Not physically. In fact, they said we aren't even prisoners. I got a hell of a headache, though. Well, let's go with that. A mage, maybe more than one, probed my mind while I was unconscious. Beyond that, they just asked questions. Magical interrogation. Ooh, busters are pulling out the big guns. Thing is, they should have been interrogating us at the same time, comparing our accounts and memories of the evening. It doesn't make sense for them to question you for hours while we're all sitting out here. None of this makes any goddamn sense. Our captors are dressed like cops, but this sure as shit isn't central booking. It's a damned impound lot. Gassing you like they did isn't any kind of police procedure I ever learned. Oh, Duncan, you aren't even on the run with us. How the hell did you wind up in here? That's a long story. Kind of an embarrassing one. I was working out in my cabin when it happened. I'd rather not go into details. You know what else doesn't make sense? The cops coming on after us at all. I mean, the APB was lifted, right? That's what Auntie Cheng said after we got out of the walled city. It was lifted. And the APB that just Fin Tseng had crate put out on us came with a killer capture order attached to us. They weren't paying much attention to the capture part. If the APB hadn't been listed, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd all be dead like Nightjar and Carter. Duncan's back stiffens, but he holds his tongue. We should be dead now, or in a secure facility somewhere. Instead, we're sitting in an impound lot, and not just us either. She gestures into the distance. The edge of the impound lot, tethered to the docks, the rusting hulk of the Kraken rises above its surroundings. Heavy chains snake up from secure moorings on the dock to heavy maglocks that clamp down the vehicle's hull. She is not going anywhere. They didn't just arrest us, they arrested our damn boat. What? And those on board were taken along for the ride. Buses didn't even give us any warning. They just hooked us to a tug, cut away our moorings, and hauled us away from the dock. Can you shed any more light on this at all, Ranneko? I mean, did whoever you talked to in there let anything slip or anything? The interrogator said we were here as guests of HKPF, whatever that means. Guests, huh? Sure. Back when I was with the Lone Star, people would disappear sometime, get dragged off to black sites, thrown in cages like these. Didn't always come back out of them. How reassuring. Gachu suddenly leaned towards the door cell, his head cocked and eyebrow raised. He lifts a gnarled hand, gesturing for the team to halt. Do you hear that? Footsteps. Someone is coming. Prepare yourselves. We're about to have company. A uniformed constable wearing a sergeant's insignia passes through a set of double gates and into your holding pen. She walks with an air of quiet authority, her face an expressionless mask. A pair of wary eyes fix themselves on you. Ranneko, step forward, please. Oh, why not? She nods, raises her PDA, and begins to type in a series of commands. Thank you for your cooperation. Senior Inspectors Lam and Q want a word with you. Let's go with... Alright, I think I'd like a word with them too. That's the right attitude. Very good. In a moment, I'm going to let you out of this cage. When I do that, I want you to make your way to the command trailer near the edge of the docks. Don't try anything stupid. You're being watched. I've served time in a corporate prison. I know what not to do. I hope so, for your sake. Go on, start walking. You don't want to leave these senior inspectors waiting. That is indeed a chair. Weird. The cramped confines of the command trailer are packed to the gills with security-rated technology. Terminals and surveillance packages, all stamped with the Mitsuhama logo, fill every inch of available space. Just ahead of you, a pair of senior inspectors, one male, one female, stand over a command console. The man offers you a friendly smile. Oh, Mr. Noon, you're here. Very good. I'm Senior Inspector Andy Lamb, one of the leaders of this police task force. Thank you for coming so promptly. Shake his hand. Yeah, sure. The woman, an elf, retorts through a mouth that is seen drawn into a permanent scowl. Look, Lamb, I've got a bust of a migraine and our guest is a professional criminal. You think we could dispense with the pleasantries and get to business? Yes, of course. My apologies, Senior Inspector Q. As for you, Ranneko, you must be wondering what you and your team are doing here. Understatement for the century. Get the feeling you're going to tell me. Long story short, we got a problem and you're in a unique position to help us solve it. This is a job offer, Ranneko. We want to hire you. Can't say I think much of your recruitment tactics. I'm sure you don't, but you can't deny their effectiveness. Go ahead, pull the file, Lamb. Lamb nods and his fingers dance over his PDA's keypad. He raises the device to show you what is pulled up on the display. From the device's tiny screen, a familiar face leers back at you. Lamb holds it to your face for a few seconds and pulls the device away. You have history with this woman. Yeah, that's great. When the APB went out on me and Duncan, she's the one who appeared on the Trid to tell the world. Chief Inspector Crate's a highly decorated officer and leader of the HKPF's elite Special Duties Unit. Within the police force, she is universally respected and feared. She is also the unofficial face of Special Duties Unit in the media circuit. When they need a talking head for the newscast, she's the woman they go to. To her fellow inspectors, she's a hero and a role model. They go to bat for her without a second's hesitation. Woman's got a lot of pull. And you suspect her of something, I take it. That's right. Key members of the Executive Council believe she is at the center of a criminal conspiracy within the HKPF, and they've been working as mercs under our noses, taking illicit side work for profit and tarnishing the good name in the process. The task force was assembled to investigate that suspicion. Your media darling has turned on you? How terribly sad. Yes, it is, and not just for us. If Crate and her people have gone rogue, that's bad for everyone. The HKPF, the people of Hong Kong, and the Executive Council. Inspectors like Crate are a blight on everything our organization is supposed to stand for. By the way, Ranneko, you and your brother were some of the first victims of her malfeasance. The APB, Zero Sang, had her put out on you, sent up red flags for us. You should also be aware that the APB was lifted and your file was cleaned. Lamb and I were the ones who made that happen. I guess the thank you's in order. That wouldn't be necessary. APB should never have been put out in the first place. Rescinding it was the right thing to do. Now, we understand the prospect of working with the police force task force could feel foreign to you, and I fully expect you have questions you'd like to ask. If there's anything you'd like to know, I'll do my best to answer. Here's one. Why me? There are plenty of other runners in HK. Other runners don't have a built-in reason to want Crate dead. You do. Beyond that, you're the perfect desirable asset for the job. If you get caught or killed, the STU will assume you were there to get revenge for what they did to you. So enough reasoning, I guess? And who will I be working with this? What are your roles in this organization? I handle the technical side of the investigation, decking, information, monitoring and control, surveillance work, that sort of thing. Q is on loan from Mitsuhama Corp. She's a cop like I am, but her primary responsibility is safeguarding the company's image and financial interests. Why does some Japanecorp care about dirty cops in Hong Kong? HKPF is owned and operated by Mitsuhama. The company is obviously concerned by what's happening here, so they dispatched me to help Lam and lead this investigation. Consider me a corp liaison, here to bridge the gap between the suits and the uniforms. As long as you're paying me, I don't really care. That's the spirit. How the hell did you get my boat here without kindly Cheng stopping you? What makes you think she could stop us? I mean, the Yellow Lotus is powerful. We have a navy at our disposal. What did you do? Attack Haoi with the navy? Of course not. We made a token show of force, and that was that. Kindly Cheng doesn't want the Marine Police parking a Sea Panther off of Haoi docks any more than anybody would. And as highly as she might think of you, she wasn't going to risk a shooting war to keep us from towing a houseboat. Where the heck is this impound lot anyway? How far from home am I? We're nearer to Aberdeen than we are to Haoi, that's all you need to know. Secrecy is one of our most important tools of survival. Can't give you an exact address. I'd like to go back to Haoi. You can let me do that? If you choose to work with us, certainly, when the job is done. If you refuse, on the other hand, well, that's a more complicated discussion. I thought you said I wasn't a prisoner here. Oh, you're not, but the thing is, you know about this task force now. That's a security risk. If you refuse to help us, we're going to have to hold you here for your own safety. You can go back to Haoi when the job is done and Crate and her people are behind bars. However long that takes. That's right. However long it takes. Or you could just help us and be home in a day or two. Your call. Alright, I'm done asking questions. What's next? What's next is let you go. For now, take some time, think it over, come back when you're ready to seal the deal. After you've accepted, we'll go into details of the run. Alright, I will go and chat with the team. That's exactly why we're letting you go. Talk to them, tell them exactly what we've told you. We're confident they'll want to work with us. They should be heading to the Kraken as we speak. Fun name, by the way. When you've made your decision, come back to us. No rush, no pressure. We're not trying to coerce you into doing this. We're all on the same team, after all. I'll talk to my people. No promises. And I guess that's what we will do next time. But now, unfortunately, my throat hurts and I'm just going to need to stop for the moment.